This August, the rhythm returns. The Toronto Pan-African Film Festival is back, and louder than ever. It's Rhythm, the heartbeat of Black music and storytelling. Experience the powerful fusion of film and music that honors the creativity and impact of Black musicians worldwide. August 14th to 17th, from the Black Carpet Gala in Little Jamaica to free screenings, panel vibes, and the grand finale brunch with media mogul Phillip Scott. Get your tickets now at tpaf.com. The Toronto Pan-African Film Festival 2025. Feel the rhythm. Live the story.
You've tried it your way, but you're still in debt? Or maybe you're doing okay, but want to invest smarter, grow faster. MillionaireX.ai gives you real step-by-step strategies to ditch debt or stack wealth. Stop dreaming and start planning. Visit MillionaireX.ai today. I want you to be the next millionaire next door.
Finding the right real estate professional can be challenging. I'm broker Melissa Wilson. I'm knowledgeable in all aspects of the real estate process. So whether you're looking to buy new or an existing home or have a commercial need, I'm here to help.
Let's stop acting like we don't see how this game is played. If you tired of folks throwing shade with a smile and keeping you boxed in with that slick behind-the-scenes racism, it's time to upgrade your survival skills. See, Phillip Scott dropped more than just knowledge. He handed you a playbook with passive-aggressive racism in the system of white supremacy. This ain't the in-your-face kind. This is that sneaky, office space, let me block your blessings type of racism that'll have you questioning your own reality. It's time to call it what it is and arm yourself with the facts. But baby, don't stop at just peeping the system. Break those mental chains too. That's why you need 7 steps to decolonize the mind. This is about freeing yourself up top, walking in confidence, and letting the world know your mind is not for rent, lease, or layaway. It's time to reclaim your power step by step. So don't just watch, take action. Click over to Amazon.com, type in passive-aggressive racism in the system of white supremacy and 7 steps to decolonize the mind, and secure both books for yourself, your crew, and anybody ready for that mental liberation. La Sherika said it, now go do it. Invest in your freedom. Pick up both books today on Amazon.com. Trust me, your mind will thank you.
I don't spend my money at the club. Everything I want is provided for me.
Biggest misconception about you? Nothing. It's all true. It's all true. It's all true. If you hear something, believe it. You want to get married now? Do you feel like you're that? No. It is by choice. It's by choice.
Who inspires me? Me. Yes. Me. Yeah. They inspire me, those people you mentioned.
I date mostly like married men, because I don't have that type of time for you. Oh, yeah. And you are married, you don't have that type of time for me.
What do you think it is that the wives are not doing?
I love this question.
They're not really being loved properly. When you stay with someone for so long and you feel like, oh, I don't really have to do much. Don't ever be comfortable around a human being. Freaking sweet.
His wife, one day I just make 11 o'clock, I'm like, she's like, my husband can't control himself, and you as a woman, you can't. I said, Mama, you can't even speak English. Like, I can't even understand. Like,
yeah, I can even speak English because of that's why.
Yes.
I don't even speak English sometimes. I wouldn't say it was a sugar daddy or a blaster. But I had a thing with someone that was giving me a lot of money.
Every day he was sending me money for lunch.
Every day is when you go to work?
Exactly.
Shout out to the slay queens who are getting their thing without having to sell a thing,
Yeah.
Trust me, you can get whatever you want, once you put your mind to it.
Watch Slay Queen only on the African Diaspora News Channel app.
From November 14th to 21st, we're inviting you to join us for a powerful trip to Ghana. This isn't just a vacation. This is a chance to walk through the same places where many of our people were captured held, and shipped off into slavery. So don't wait. Secure your spot today. We're making history by walking through it. Will you be with us?
In H-Town, we want news that speaks truth, just like we do.
ADNC keeps me informed and him inspired.
We've been through too much to trust mainstream media. This feels like us.
From the D to the diaspora, ADNC is how I stay woke. We binge ADNC like it's Netflix, but smarter.
They speak on us, but never for us. ADNC does.
No fluff, no filters, just the truth, daily.
From Wall Street to 125th, we're watching our news.
Download the African Diaspora News Channel app today to stay connected to the culture.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people have been stealing from the black community for a very long time. And we see a lot of charismatic figures do this. They run off of millions and millions of dollars. Some of you here today may have had some of the millions of dollars stolen from you. It may not be in millions, but it may be in increments. Well, tonight we're going to talk about that, about those who try to come underneath the guise of some sort of liberation, those who try to come underneath the guise of I'm trying to help kids or help whoever, and they end up helping themselves to money, women, some of them children, Brother Polite. We're going to talk about that tonight. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us tonight. I switched up what I was going to talk about because just the other day when I got into that conversation a little bit, we was mentioning about that situation and the stuff was going on with Dr. Umar, like I say, his personal finances and all that stuff. The people talking about, I don't care about that. But we kind of want to just get into some of that because it's not so much people like Brother Polite or Dr. Umar, it's the community. It's the community because it'll be somebody else tomorrow. You understand? And why is it that we as a community keep following the same pattern? Why is it that you're trying to believe in a person like they're Jesus? So why aren't you looking at, okay, you say you're going to do something, you're not doing it. You're being loose in your morals. You know, in order for you to be in certain positions, your moral capital has to be pretty high. We can't sit up here and say, oh, it's okay, and then they out here living any old kind of way, right? So we need to talk about that. And sometimes when we get into these conversations, some people want to get all super spiritual and religious. We shouldn't judge. Listen, you have to judge. You have to judge certain things because you must judge what's right and what's wrong. Not to say you're going to put somebody in heaven or hell, but you need to judge what is right and what is wrong. And am I going to fool with this person? Am I going to protect my soul, my spirit? I'm going to protect my pocketbook. Am I going to protect my children? A lot of women, or you going to protect your body, right? Or you going to protect your womb from some of these shady characters that come in and prey on women and children and also the greater community. So I thank y'all for coming in tonight. Obviously, my notifications did not go out. I can clearly see that. And this is what I have to battle all the time, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I have to battle. Give me a second. I need to share some things here. Just give me a minute while y'all trying to come on in. And I know y'all not getting notifications. I had a brother last night tell me, he said, man, I didn't get a notification until you was off air. How does that happen? I get a notification when you off and not a notification when you on. That's how it is, man. That's how it is. They do this. They do this all the time. This is why I need y'all to just personally come check yourself around this time. I stream personally Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, unless for some reason I'm out the country or out of town. A lot of times when I'm gone, I'm running around. That's probably why I'm not streaming. I'm not sitting around as much as I would like to. The weekends I don't stream, so just letting y'all know that. But we have content going up. Sometimes I try to get content up myself, but then everybody else, we really trying to focus more on the weekends because that's one hole I noticed that we didn't have. So yes, we're gonna get into this conversation tonight. You said Lisa says she keeps checking. Yeah, keep checking. I'm supposed to possibly have a guest to talk with me about this topic tonight, but if this brother don't show up, me and him talked about it, so I'm gonna constantly kind of check in the background, see if he just showed up, and I just haven't seen him yet. Then I'll switch over to him. If not, I'll cook on this on my own. I have no problem cooking on anything on my own, but hopefully this brother shows up tonight. But anyway, so let's get into this conversation. Let's get into it. All right. So for years, there have been great people that's come through that I remember. I've been around about 13 years. Okay. I talked to a brother the other day that remember me when I was doing videos in front of my shower curtain. Okay. So that's how long this is a Nigerian brother. Shout out to him. That's how long he been watching. Right. And he brought up some old memories that I'm like, oh yeah, I remember all them days. You know what I'm saying? But in the midst of all these years, you had a lot of people fall by the wayside, and you had a couple that's still standing from even back then. I'm one of them, right? A few people that's from back then. Like I said, of course, like Tariq Nasheed, way back then, of course. The Jason Black, the Professor Black Truths, Vicky been around for a very long time. Dr. Umar, he been around because he was with the House of Consciousness and all that. It's a lot of people that's kind of still standing a little bit. And why is it that we're still kind of standing even in today, even with all the advent of technology, even those different generations of people? How is it that, we try to still stand, or at least how I'm trying to still stand? Well, the message, as long as you keep core messaging, but you move with the times, you'll be all right. And you adapt with technology like me. I'm adapting very quick with technology. I love technology. And that's how you just kind of stay culturally relevant. 'Cause that's the key word. You got to stay culturally relevant. The moment you become not culturally relevant, you become the old dude that nobody want to listen to. Okay? That's the options you go to. Either you become the old dude nobody want to listen to. You can be the cool uncle that everybody likes. Or you can be the creepy uncle like Slim Thug. He's the creepy uncle. Sitting in the club, old as he is, lurking around the young girls. And it's not that guys his age can't get a young girl, but when you're creepy, people just don't like creeps. They just don't like it, especially when you're an old creep. They don't like that. So we've been around for a while, okay? I remember back in the Gap, definitely with Sonetta TV. And shout out to brother Sonetta. For sure. Oh, I was looking. I wanted to look for something. Did I have it here? I don't know if I have it here or not. Maybe I don't have it here. I thought I did. God, I would have showed y'all. But I want to give a shout out to Sonetta TV, brother Sonetta. I'm gonna tell you why. Brother Sonetta was the first brother, the very, 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 very first brother, the first Black American brother that gave me an award. And I will always give props to Sonetta. He had the Sonetta TV Awards, and he invited me to New York for the show. It was great to see all those great brothers and sisters there because he had at that time he still had a squad with him. Sonetta used to host the debates and all of that. And of course, they had this, different things that may happen at the debate sometime, but hey, that was the thing at one point in time. People come to New York and do their different debates. Maybe they debating by Kemet. Maybe they in Hebrew Israelite and all the different things that people are debating, and that's fine. That's what that was at that time period. But I'll never forget, Sonetta was the first brother that recognized our platform. It wasn't YouTube. It wasn't any of these people. It was that brother. So I'm always gonna give props to that brother. Okay. But he had the House of Consciousness. Now, in the House of Consciousness, you had a lot of people. He had a squad with him. And out of the House of Consciousness, from what I remember, was people like Brother Polite. Okay. He was one of them. Of course, he branched away from the House of Consciousness, and Brother Polite went and did what he was doing. Okay. And we know ultimately what Brother Polite ended up. We know Brother Polite was known to scam. We know that. We know so many people talk about how he got them for money. Okay. Then we know Brother Polite was running around with all kind of women. Then eventually, Brother Polite women wasn't enough for Brother Polite. He just wasn't enough for him. Usually when you get to certain levels of perversion, a woman is never enough. So you go start going the extra mile, doing other things. And then Brother Polite got caught up because he chose to target a child. And usually when you get caught targeting children, that's not your first time. That's not your first time. Now, how did he get access to this child? Through the women. See, these men are predators. A lot of them are predators. And I'm going to be honest with you. I see a lot of men before they come. I really do. I see their game, and they always want to target. Listen, if you are a single mother, a lot of times these men would target you more so than women who don't have children. A lot of times you're tired. You don't, especially if a father's not around, you don't have no help with those children. You're dealing with it. You're struggling sometimes financially. You really would like a man to come through and be a good man to you and your child. And these men see your vulnerability. You know, these men see it very well. And, they'll talk a good game to you. They'll talk all the good game you want to hear. And it's just to get inside your bedroom. And once they get inside your bedroom and they do what they do with you, they are moving on to the next single mother, because that is a pattern. Single mothers are targeted in our community. And that's just bottom line by those men. And some of these men, not only targeting the single mother, but targeting their children. Sometimes the son, sometimes the daughter. Okay? Oh, yeah, I remember that years ago. Yeah. We knew about that with Brother Polite. So you have to think about these kind of people. They come, they first thing they do is, I'm leery about people who always talk about agents. I'm leery about those kind of people from my experience over the years. People all that agent this person's an agent, that person's an agent. They're projecting, because 9 times out of 10, you're an agent. I'm not saying a federal agent. I'm not saying, but an agent of destruction, an agent of calamity, an agent of the scammers. Right? Because 9 times out of 10, they always got something going on. They always fast talking. They get so many different things started. And then if someone tries to hold them accountable, what ended up happening when people try to hold them accountable? Well, the first thing they tell you, you're a hater. You're a hater. Like somebody really cares about what they got going on to that manner. You're a hater. Okay. So accountability isn't hating, especially if someone's not lying on you. Now, if someone's lying on you, that's a different story, right? But you're a hater because you're calling them out. You say, hey, man, that's not cool what you're doing with them women, bro. Stop hating. Or stop de-policing, this and that and the third. Well, if you're in a position where you're talking to people, then no one should, number one, have to tell you anything, because you should understand that position you're in comes with a certain moral compass. We got enough degenerates in our community. We don't need to have another degenerate that may know how to speak a little well, or a degenerate that got an education, or a degenerate that maybe read a lot of books. So he has a little bit more play on the English language than the rest of them. We don't need that in our community. More degenerates. We got that enough, right? But unfortunately, some of these people see the weaknesses in our community, and even some weaknesses with some of our brothers, because some of our brothers have gotten took from some of these men in the area of their finance. Because, a lot of times brothers want to believe in somebody, and they want to say, hey, I want to see a brother do well for the community. So, yeah, I'm going to believe in this brother. And so a lot of times brothers come out of pocket, not because they weak, but they just want to see something done. Like a lot of black people are desperate to see good things in the black community. They're desperate to see it. So if somebody's talking pretty good and all of that, especially if they know how to showcase on social media. Now, Brother Polite was one that knew how to showcase pretty well on social media. Some guys looked up to that. you know, the cars, the women, all of that sort of thing. Some guys look up to that, right? 'Cause a lot of guys are attracted to what's perceived success. I say perceived, not really success. And then when you peel the onion layers back, what ended up happening to Brother Polite? He got convicted of being a pedo. And then that was the talk of the town, right? Everybody knew for years Brother Polite was scamming. That's for sure. But the issue is not so much Brother Polite. It goes back to the black community. Because a lot of times when you call these people out, and I've done it over the years, the first thing people want to do is attack you, want to attack the messenger, say you're hating, stop tearing another black man down. Why are you worrying about defending people who scam, who are pedos, who are predators? Why are you always defending that? There's a lot of solid brothers and sisters in the community that you could be defending. But the moment somebody point to it and say, hey, that's not cool what you're doing, you attack the messenger for saying that. You're rather, we need to do that in private. What they're doing is in public. They're not doing things in private. When they're calling for money, they did it in public. They didn't do it in private. And certain things in private need to be scrutinized publicly, like going after children, deceiving women in the community, targeting vulnerable single mothers in the community. That needs to be called out because we don't want no predators running around the black community. That should be called out by men and women. Women should not be following these kind of men or giving them any kind of money, lest you be broke. These men have not brought nothing tangible, not even a job. What jobs have these men even provided for the black community? Show me their payroll. What payroll company are they using to say, hey, I'm at least giving jobs in the community. Let me show you my payroll. What I paid last year to black people. They're not even providing jobs. If you provide a job to black people, put some money in their bank account, you're doing something because you're helping them pay some sort of bill. They're not even doing that. They're just taking. They never gave back. And yet they get millions upon millions of followers, notoriety and all of that, to do wrong to the black community. Then when they get busted, some people, when Brother Polite got busted, people still, oh man, they just trying to take him down. Nobody ain't trying to take that dude down. He took himself down. Okay, I think that's my guess, right? Let's see if my guess is in the background. Oh, there he is. Brother George, you see me?
Yeah, I see you. Give me 1 second.
You hear me?
1 second.
All right, Brother George Macon gonna be up here cooking with me, ladies and gentlemen. So I wanna, R Lee, I guess that's your name. Yeah, that's we gonna get into that too. But Brother George gonna go have this conversation tonight. But anyway, they target single mothers, and we should not allow that in the community. We just should not allow that. Not at all. Now we definitely gonna get on Dr. Umar, and I posted a video now 10 years ago. 10 years ago. You hear me, Brother George?
Yeah, I'm here. I hear you.
Okay, cool. Well, Brother George, you know, I was kind of starting on, you know, some of the issues with Brother Polite and what we allowed in the community. Like Brother Polite had kind of targeted, you know, a lot of times single mothers, you know, the scams. And before I just get more into it, Brother George, let people know who you are, why you here tonight, and just even your history with Sonnet and them, and even knowing all these cats.
Yeah, George Macon, Street Media TV. I come up through the pro-black sector, man. Sonnet TV. I've been online, well, on this stuff since 2009, but had my channel since 2014. So those of y'all that know me, you know, I came on talking about, you know, all the pro-black stuff. I thought when I first came on social media that the black community wanted to see intact black families, all the things that we complain about. So that's the type of content that I tried to produce. And, you know, what I noticed was a lot of people in the community say that that's what they want, but that's not the actual content that we actually support. So we had a conversation earlier, and we're talking about the Umars and the Polites and so many other ones that we can name. I told you, I said, listen, it's controversial. I don't blame them. I blame the community. They are, people like them are holding a mirror up to the community, and they showing us who we are, because these are the things that we actually support. These are the things that we give our energy to, and that's how these people become who they are, right? And the thing is, I can poll everybody in here. You know what everybody say? Man, I don't support them. That's a lie, because they wouldn't become who they were if we didn't support them. If I go in every room, people going to say that they don't support them. Yes, they do. You know, we support people in our communities, and me too. I fall victim of this. We have a real bad problem in the Black community of supporting people that are good orators, people that can talk, but they're not good producers, right? We're used to, our masculinity is based on the head below the belly button and not the one above the neck, right? Not the man or the woman that can produce with using their brain based off their environment. We look for the big, strongest guy, his sexual prowess, hers, or whatever. That's in the area. That's the area that we look at, not a person's ability to produce. And this is why you have people in our communities that are charlatans that can grift and run. And then Carter G. Woodson talked about this in The Miseducation of the Negro. The community has too many orators and not enough producers. The educated Negro leaves the masses. This stuff ain't new in our community. It's been like this. The preachers, so many different people in our communities, we don't have enough people that produce. And the ones that do produce, we don't celebrate. We don't celebrate. So I just started off by there.
Yeah. Well, Brother George, I thank you for coming on up with us tonight, brother, because, you know, y'all out there saying Brother George has been in the trenches for a very long time. You know, he remembered the House of Consciousness, like I was talking about earlier, and all those cats that was in the debates. You know, first time I met this brother was at the Sonetta TV Awards. And I was telling them earlier that George, Sonetta was the first brother that gave me any kind of recognition for our platform. So I definitely always would thank Sonetta for that.
I think,
you know, I don't know what Sonetta fully doing today. I see he's still doing things, but you know, back then he was, you know, he was the man back then.
He was top dog. He was top dog. I think one of the biggest problems that we have in our community is we have far too many people that don't know how to solve the problems that we have. So this is why we lash out at each other. This is why we can't stick together, because a lot of us are traumatized people, and it shows when we come to these social media places. And if we had the ability to solve our problems, we wouldn't behave in the manner in which we behave. We would have been called a person like Umar Johnson out, told him to get out of here, because the expectation would have been high. The bar would have been high. We'd have told him a year into whatever he was doing, we'd have been like, yo, we need to see your progress report, fam. And he would have already understood when he walked into that room, he has to show and prove. But in our community, the expectations are so low, the bar is set so low, these people peep the weakness in the game and they know that they can exploit it. A lot of our people, we like to feel good for that day because we live in day to day, paycheck to paycheck. We need something to make us feel good. You don't have to, your production really don't matter as long as you make me feel good. And that's what goes on in our communities. Every day we talk, we complain about certain things, but we don't have enough problem solvers, people that's teaching people how to solve the problems in the Black community. And that's why these people are able to just grow like this. And these are the conversations we got to have. I told you on the phone. A person like you that's been in this space for so long, that employs people that do the things you need to do, people like Umar and Politenum are way more known than you are, but they're not doing the actual work that you're doing. This is the stuff that go on in the Black community. Everybody knows this. You want to make some money? Go to the Black community. Just tell them what they want to hear. They'll start dancing and doing all kinds of stuff, and they'll open up their purse string. They'll open up pockets. You ain't got to produce for them. You ain't got to produce for them. Just make them feel good. Everybody knows this, and this is hard because we don't like to hear it. But when we get into conversations with these immigrants, these are the stuff that they throw in our face. This is the stuff that they throw in our face. So everybody knows this stuff, man. And it's time for us. When we say we're gonna be FBA, I always say on my channel, FBA ain't just a lineage. It's a lifestyle. It's a practice. It's something that there has to be a change. There's a paradigm shift coming. So we foundational Black Americans, we have to make the world respect us as that. So we have to live by the work that our ancestors left for us. And now we got to start being nice to each other, loving on each other, and working with each other. You out there watching me now. How many black people have you worked with in the last year to make the change that we need? All that stuff has to matter now. If not, we just talking.
Right. And let me tell y'all something else. Let me respond to something that George say. I'm not looking to be famous. You know what I prefer, George? I like them people that's kind of behind the scenes. They do very well for themselves. They can move like a regular person. Nobody stopping them. Nobody holding them up. None of that. So like I said, hey, I tell you all the time, George, if I get enough things solid where I can fall back and I just stay behind the scenes, I'm cool with that at this stage in the game, George. Long as everything is right. I still enjoy what I do. But yeah, like it's more things you could do behind the scenes than being on this camera. You know, this camera it's a little work to it. But now let me ask you a question. You way back then with Sinetta TV, and you mentioned Dr. Umar and all of that. When did you first get engaged with him in that time period?
When did I first get engaged with Sinetta?
No, Umar.
Well, the thing is with Umar is hold on for a second. The thing is with Umar is I'm real tight with Umar's father. So I didn't know him like that. I knew his father. His father's like a mentor to a lot of the brothers in the street. You know, he had the Hug the Block program, and he would come recruit us, and we would go to the drug corners and stuff like that. I should have emailed you them pictures so I can show you the pictures of us out in the corners with the signs. I'm gonna send you the email. But we would go, and his father is an activist. He's the real activist. Umar was able to actually move around and gain a notoriety because of the work that his father put in the streets. His father's well known and well respected, Brother Jamil. So this is how he was able to basically do the things that he does. But he had a falling out, with his father and stuff. Y'all remember when his father was online, when he was first collecting money and he was trying to warn everybody years back, right? So, but his father is the one that's actually in the streets. He just retired last year from doing the activism work, but he still calls everybody when things is going on. He's one of the OGs that actually can get everybody together, even the gangsters, the killers. When he can get everybody together because everybody respects him. That's his father. But that's why Umar is able to do a lot of stuff that he do without people checking him in the city. So yeah, but Umar came onto the scene through Sinetta around that 2009, and again, he was very charismatic. He's a big burly guy. He spoke. What he did was his grift was he understood that the community is riddled with single mothers, and he had a form of education where he can make love with words to the ears of single mothers that have issues raising their boys. So he specialized in talking about the Ritalin and the medicine, the ADHD and the special ed classes in school, and how the state allocates more money to the schools. And he was bringing remedy to some of these single mothers' problems. And he understood that, but he was a wolf in sheep's clothing, because the thing is, the things that when he started to garner his audience, the things that he promised, he never delivered. But again, when you solving certain problems for a lot of these single moms, they latch on and they support them. The ship is leaking oil now, but it's been like 15 years. It's been like 15 years. Just think about it. In the Black community, we have a lot of single moms. There's a Brother Polite did it. A lot of these pastors, not all, but a lot of these pastors do it. They look and they peep the weakness in the game, and they understand that a lot of the families are traumatized, and a lot of them being ran by single moms. So what they do is they bring certain remedies to these mothers to help them, and that's how they lock them in. And then when you fast forward 10 years later, a lot of these women are disgruntled. They're upset with him because now his fangs that came out, and he done showed you who he really was. He didn't produce nothing. There's no school. There's nothing. When last time you ever seen him with any kids doing anything with any children? Right? But he's supposed to be the child psychologist. But these are the way. This is how they get in. And the thing is, it's an uncomfortable truth. But we got to tell the truth in order to fix the problem, man. And we gotta analyze how these men get in the door. They don't get in. What do you say? Black queens forever, snow bunnies never. Black women love when they hear that. Of course, they love when they hear that. But he has an ulterior motive when he does that. He's not doing that for black women. He's doing that for his own gain. He's taking advantage. And so now when brothers like us, come on and we pro-black, and hey, I have been married to the same black woman for 25 years, right? Got 4 kids, 6 grandchildren. We don't get respected because of this dude. This dude. I'm trying my best to do the right thing. This guy come in and say black queens forever, and all the women run over there and throw all their purses at him, and then now look. But that's our community, and we gotta stop it. We gotta start having high expectations. People say, I used to think years ago, I used to think that people that had high expectations feel was uppity. Oh man, you over there with them uppity Negroes. But as I'm getting older, I'm learning that just because you black with high expectations don't mean that you uppity. That just means that you tired of the nigga stuff. And at what point as our community we gonna get tired of the nigga stuff and have high expectations? Phil? It just is what it is.
I said this earlier. I said that when people get in certain positions, you have to have a certain moral compass. Okay, you can't be a degenerate. You understand? And because we have enough degenerates, you got enough degenerates right here in Houston. They got them in Philly. They got them all over the country. We don't need more degenerates, ones, like I said earlier, that just got a degree or who can speak very well. Or we don't need no predators in the midst. But the issue is, you mentioned that we have low expectations, and we could talk about, those gentlemen all day. But George, what is it about us that keep on? Because the issue I mentioned earlier is that I've called out Umar in particular 10 years ago. And when I called him out 10 years ago, matter of fact, before I fully called him out, when he had that conscious stripper situation, I had interviewed that lady, right? And she read him, and I say, okay. Then I reached out to him and said, hey, you want to respond to any of this? He didn't come, or whatever. Okay. He didn't like the idea. I gave him a little bit. The women, I remember the women at the time that called that show when that woman was on there, George, and say, oh, well, we got a business plan coming out next month. And, the date of the school, George, this was 10 years ago at 2015, George. I have the video that I really called him out 10 years ago on my app. And everything I said, I was accurate 10 years ago. And it's crazy that, you know what I'm saying? But what is it about us that will sit up here and allow that to go on? Because if it was white folks, we would sit up there and put up with it from them.
Because
with our children.
Because if you read the Miseducation of the Negro, chapter 11, it says a need for service rather than leadership. We have too many people that want to be leaders and want to run the show, want to get on their soapbox and talk, but we don't have enough people in service, actually producing for the community, solving problems, teaching people how to solve problems. Just think of this, Phil. You in Houston, right?
Yeah.
All right, so you in the 4th biggest city in America. I'm in the 5th biggest city in America, right? Y'all passed us some time ago, right? So we in 2 huge cities, a lot of black people, right? Mm-hmm. What is the expectation of a black boy from about 15 to 30? How high is the bar set for black boys where we come from, Phil?
Realistically, it's not set very high. As most people expect, hopefully they can stay out of prison, get a job, and be productive. That's not really much.
So if we know that, then we know that boys, they're not being raised to meet the expectations or standards that the community will have within them. Boys are not being raised to meet the challenges. They're not being raised to understand what true masculinity is. So boys are being born to mothers and fathers and moms, and they're not being raised up. Most of these women won't even raising boys that they wouldn't date themselves. Most of these men are putting babies in women that they're not there to provide protection, direction, and correction. So when a boy grows up, he's not growing up to understand what manhood is and to solve problems. Men are problem solvers. I was raised by my father. My job as a husband of 25 years is to solve problems, right? And provide protection, direction, and correction. I'm old school. That's what my job is. I raised 4 children. I've been a God and a husband to a black woman for 25 years. I solve problems because I was taught by my father. Well, most of these boys in our community are not raised with those type of standards. A lot of them are not even allowed to have high standards. So now when we understand that, this is why our community is in the conditions it's in, because we have very low standards for ourselves, which brings us very low self-esteem. And when I say this, people don't like to hear it because it's coming out that way, but look at our communities. Look at our communities. See, forget what I say. Just look at Cincinnati, look at Cleveland, look at Philadelphia, look at Houston. Look at all these black cities. Do we have some type of black establishments? Yes. But in most of these cities we live in, we're being gentrified out, right? We don't have large home ownerships. We don't own the businesses, right? And a lot of these young boys don't even understand what their roles are because they was never raised to meet the expectations that the community would have in them. And this is how you get the Umars, and I don't even want to keep naming everybody, but people know who they are out there. This is how you get them to come in now and say, well, let's just tell the people what they want to hear, and I'm a grifter. They just like the dope boys. They just come in and tell you sweet things in your ear, and they're able to get away. That's our community because the expectations is low. If you had boys and young girls that was being raised up to have high expectations in their community, just think about it, Phil. Every year, just think about this, from 1980 to now, every single year we graduate black students from HBCUs. How come we never see that talent matriculate back into Black Philadelphia, Black Memphis, right? Black Houston, Black Newark, New Jersey, Black Baltimore, Black Washington, D.C. How come now you may see a little bit of it, but they go work for white corporations or you don't see them? How come we don't see that talent come back into these communities where we're from, where we can raise up the standard? So what I'm saying is it shows. It shows. And these are the uncomfortable conversations that we really got to have from an FBA perspective. Okay, let's do an analysis. Since 1980, right? We got HBCUs. When these kids graduate, where do they go to? How can we now?
PWIs.
Yeah. How can we now say it's 2025, by 2035, if we start projecting this now, when these graduates come out, these young kids with this talent, how can we monitor what are they doing in Dallas and Fort Worth? What are they doing in these places where you have a high volume of black people? We have to start. This is our responsibility. Ain't nobody going to help us but us. We have to do this. Other groups do this. We don't, Phil. And this is why you have the people that we have, because we have a very low top. We have a very, very low bar. And I talk about this on my channel. And when I start talking this way, people run away. People run out because now it's the responsibility. All that FBA and tether talk sound good, but we say, okay, we got that out. Let's roll up our sleeves and start doing the work. Now, when you got to do the work, it's 5,000 of y'all. You find now it's 500 of y'all. People don't actually want to do the work, Phil, to bring about the change that we need, man. They don't want to do it because it takes work. It takes sacrifice. It takes commitment. It takes a lot to change this. Nobody else is going to do it but us. The history shows it.
Yeah. We definitely got to put in the work, brother. And instead of wasting time, like you're saying, you know, some things that, like, for instance, you mentioned about the Umar, Black Queens Forever, Snow Bunnies Never. But it's the issue with people like that. It goes back to him. Is that you talking about Black Queens Forever, but you out here when one of a Black Queen Forever make you mad, you out here talking about, you know, smells and this and that. And when I heard him doing that, it just floored me because I'm like, okay, first of all, sir, you were laying down with him. Okay. So what does that say about you?
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't want nobody to know that information, right? I just wouldn't want to do that. At a certain point as a man, you know, you don't talk about, it don't matter what you get involved with a woman, y'all get into it or whatever. As a man, you don't go do that.
Yeah.
Especially as a man. Isn't he 50 or somewhere around there?
Yeah.
As a 50-year-old. Do what?
He's supposed to be a black intellectual. I don't know no black intellectuals that talk that way, Phil.
No. It's not even about an intellectual, brother. Just a regular man.
Yes.
Look, okay, you get into it with a woman, okay, fine. You go on by you. No, women may talk. Let women do that. That's what they do. As men, we don't get on the internet discussing details. That's not what men do.
Yeah. Especially about a woman's body. But the reason why
that's stupid.
The reason why I use that as a black intellectual, because see, if I'm out on the corner in Southwest Philly and it was a young buck or an old head drunk saying that about a woman, I wouldn't like it, but I mean, it is what it is in the hood. But when you a guy and you're supposed to be a teacher, an intellectual, you're supposed to be a guy that's responsible for people's children coming into a school, and you're talking that way. This is so now other communities look and say this is the best. This is the best of your group. This is how they talk. This is how they behave. Like is he's portraying himself to be this guy with all these degrees. He want to open up a school, and he's online talking about what's between just a woman's body parts. It's just like, it's weird. But again, like I said, for me, right? I've been in this space teaching for a long time. Got 4 channels, right? Done videos with my wife. Got my program, Urban Nerds. I take the kids on the stuff, right? With my wife, we have the children, right? Right? My grandbabies, everything. This guy, never been married. Put babies in women, didn't marry them, right? Talking about he's having group counseling sessions and all these different things. And I'm just listening and watching. I'm like, well, when is somebody going to stop this stuff, right? And it's 2,000 people in the room when he's talking about families, and he talking this stuff. But then the daughter come on there and they outing them and all kinds of stuff. But they still have the following, right? We go live and do this kind of stuff. We can't get the following from the people. And what I learned is. Go ahead, Phil.
Well, George, let me interject, because like I said, I've been around for a while. Numbers don't really impress me, and never do, because these numbers could be. I know these platforms, right? So I wouldn't even worry about numbers with nobody, because I don't. These numbers go up one day, down, up one day, down. They don't share your notifications out, and let's call it what it is. If you're really doing something productive, they don't really want to push that in the algorithm. If you're doing something that's could be not good for the community, whatever it may be, they want to push more of that out there. I mean, I tell people the system is not going to promote any of us doing good things. You know what I'm saying? It's going to promote destructive behavior, people like that. They're going to put them on whatever. That's why I've learned a long time ago, George, I don't care about nobody's numbers. I don't care about live streams. I don't care. I just focus on what I'm doing. And what I learned in the end is sometimes, George, just that slow and steady that wins the race. It's not that quick numbers, quick this, quick that, because in the end, your legacy matter, right? So in the end, when you look at your legacy, people are gonna say, okay, George did this, and this. He working with the kids. He hollering at the brothers on the block. They got respect for him, and this and that and the third. And your name is good. When you have a person, you got all these numbers, and nobody's accusing you of scamming. Nobody's accusing you, talking about you talking crazy about women's bodies and hygiene and all kind of other things when you engage in behavior with them. You know, I believe your legacy is more important than anything, because when I'm gone, our legacy is what's going to talk about us, right? Not social media numbers, not interviews. It's going to be what we did with our children, our spouses, our community, right? And to me, that's way more important than any social media number. I just tell you that's where I'm at with it.
And the crazy thing is, I never even, before I was so-called woke or out, even when I was in the streets, I never even said nothing like that about I never even talked like that, publicly about a woman, something like that. I mean, you might have said something in your homie amongst your group, but just blurting out like that, I never even talked like that. That's how I know it's just a lot of weirdo stuff that go on in these online spaces. But I just think for me, the gist of my content always have been that we got to clean ourselves up. Like, we got to be willing to do the work. To get to the things that we say we want in the Black community amongst FBA culture, it actually takes work. Doing what you do, Phil, it takes work. I'm in these social media spaces. I do content. I know it takes you doing this all day, every day. It's work. Like, it ain't too many breaks like that. Like, you doing work. So in order to fix up the things that we need to fix up and clean up, it's going to take work. And I just think that people got to be willing to do the work, man. And a lot of times in our spaces, a lot of people not really ready or willing to do the work that it is to bring change. I emailed you pictures of me and Umar Johnson dad out on the street. We had the Hug the Block program, and we would go out to all the major drug corners, or let's just say it was a major shooting on those corners. We would go take the corners over, right? Got shot at a couple times off, but we would go out there and take over the corners, all in the hot spots where people don't want to go. We was going into them, and we would go take over all 4 parts of the corners and just sit on those corners for days until things calm down and stuff like that. So it was a thing called Hug the Block, and we was, we was doing that. And the thing is, we trying to get it restarted again because he retired, man. A lot of guys is scared to go out there now. But Brother Jamil, he would be everywhere. South Philly, North Philly, Germantown. He was all over. And like I said, Umar wasn't out there. Umar wasn't doing none of that kind of stuff, man. Going in there and working with the babies and just trying to be the example of the things that we talk about. You know, the things that we talk about, you got to be the example. But I just think that the Black community, wherever we at, whoever watching this, wherever we at, we got to raise our standards. We got to have higher standards for ourselves, man. Like they got this thing now where they're talking, what they calling it, Black fatigue and ghetto culture, but they're attributing all of that to Black people, Phil. All this Black fatigue, we tired of Black people, we tired of Black culture, right? And if they keep telling you this stuff over and over and over again, you believe it, and you start to perpetuate the behavior that's not even your culture, that's not even you. But they told you was this.
Well, George, listen, George, I got to interject now. George, listen, I am not listening to no group of people that don't know how to take a bath. Talking about they tired of me.
Yes.
I'm tired of you stinking, okay? I'm tired of your lice. I'm tired of your mass shootings. I'm tired of a whole lot. And they on the decline. So I'm really not even paying attention to them at this point, George. Mm-hmm. So I would tell my people, if you still listening to them in 2025, that's a you problem. That's not a us problem, right?
Yeah.
Because like I said, I make no qualms, George, about them folks. I don't want to hear nothing they talking about in relation to my people. Nothing. They got a whole lot they need to be dealing with. I tell them, you don't like Black folk in Philly, you don't like Black folk in Houston. Go with them white folks in the Appalachian Mountains up there. They got that town. Go up there with them, and y'all can go have all the hills have eyes children y'all want and stay over there with them. Don't be over here in Philly. Don't be over here in Houston with the other Black folk. That's why I'm at with it, George. I tell them, George, also, you tired of Black people? Okay, cool. They got a big, beautiful continent called Europe. Get you a European Union passport and go over there with the European motherland and try to fix Europe. That's what I tell them, George. They can't tell me nothing about being tired of Black people.
See, for me, we in agreement. But see, I go into these prisons twice a month, right? I go into these youth prisons and we talk to these young people, right? So I created the shirts "Nerds Over Niggas," right? We also got the shirts "Urban Nerds, Not Urban Shooters," right? So we go in and I got a video where we're talking to the governor, the state senator. We're talking about these kids in juvenile in the Pennsylvania juvenile system. They were getting sentenced for long years, but they was never giving these kids psych evaluations and stuff like that. They were just throwing our kids away. So our organization, we was going into these courtrooms, and I'm going into the prisons with my Nerds Over Niggas and telling them, listen, stop subscribing to something that you're not, and explaining to them everything you said. Like, listen, forget what them people telling you. These people are the original pirates. You know what I'm saying? But they do this mind control and they conditioning our children to believe that there's something. So for me, I'm on the streets. I'm in these prisons. I'm talking to these babies. We got the bounce back program where when these kids are coming out, we're getting them in trade schools. Some of them are going into the military. They're coming in through Urban Nerds, and then we're getting them in these programs. So I'm sitting there with these children all the time, and that's why I sit in the man-to-man program at our Fathership Foundation, and I hear them talk. So everything that you said, I'm on board. My challenge is when I'm out there in the streets is to get the kids to understand what we're talking about, because a lot of them are conditioned to see themselves as real niggas, right? And I'm trying to get that real nigga mind. That's why I had the series Death to the Real Nigga. It wasn't about killing nobody, it's about killing that nigga mindset in their minds. So these are the things that we do. So everything that you said, I go out into the streets and into these prisons, and I try to inject that wisdom back into these Black boys so that way they can raise their standards. And these are the things that we doing.
Yes, sir. Well, Brother George, we got to wrap up. Let people know how to get to your channel. That way they can catch more with you, brother.
Yeah, you guys can reach me at Street Media TV. You go over there, Street Media TV, and also Urban Nerds Worldwide, my Urban Nerds Worldwide channel. That's the channel I got with our nonprofit. We work with inner city youth here in Philadelphia, Delaware, all throughout the Delaware Valley. We're working with, we have a STEM organization and a history organization. We also take kids on college tours. We got a robotics club with Drexel University, and it's just getting our children in the inner city up to speed with the ever-changing technologies. I went into Drexel University last year, and they was having a coding camp and also a robotics camp. And in that room, I seen white kids, Indian kids, African kids, Asian kids. There was no FBA kids there whatsoever, not one. And I had a problem with that. So instead of me complaining about it, I went and did something about it. We went and set up the meeting with the president of Drexel. Now this summer we have 4 kids there. So, and these are the things that we're working to do because we don't want FBA kids to be behind with the technologies. So these are the things that we're doing here in the city of Philadelphia under our Urban Nerves project, and I titled it Urban Nerves because I want to bring Black intelligence back to the community. I don't want our boys being cool with calling themselves real niggas. I want intelligence in the bar to be set higher. So these are the things that we're doing. All
right. Well, make sure, ladies and gentlemen, go to Street Media TV. Make sure you subscribe to Brother George. And Brother George, we're going to work some things out. Brother George will come in here and bless y'all with all his knowledge a couple of times a week. So Brother George, thank you for joining us tonight, man, because I got to wrap this thing up. I'm way over time.
Yeah, me
but
too.
yeah, brother, you stay blessed, and you and your family have a great weekend.